Hello everyone, this is Al Red Sox Fan coming to you from Al Red Sox Fan YouTube station, and we're going to bring you another game in the series of the 1927 Yankees take on all comers. And today's matchup is a Subway Series matchup in a way. We have the 1969 New York Mets, led by Tom Seaver, Tom Terrific, will take on the 1927 New York Yankees, led by Murderers Row. The 1969 New York Mets would win the World Series over the Baltimore Orioles, and they had a regular season record of 100 wins and 62 losses. The 1927 New York Yankees regular season, 110 wins, 44 losses, and they would also go on to win the World Series, defeating the Pittsburgh Pirates. It is 63 degrees out in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. Skies are clear, winds 12 miles per hour right to left. So let's play ball. Quickly go to the visiting New York Mets of 1969. Leading off, playing first base, Don Clendenin. The designated hitter, Art Shamsky, batting second. In this replay project, we are using a designated hitter. Batting third, the center fielder, Tommy Agee. Batting fourth, playing left field, Cleon Jones. Batting fifth, the right fielder, Rod Gasper. Batting sixth, the left fielder, Ken Boswell. Batting seventh, doing the catching, Jerry Grody. Batting eighth, playing third base, Wayne Garrett. Batting ninth, playing shortstop, Bud Harrelson. Now for the 1927 New York Yankees. Batting first, in center field, Earl Combs. Batting second, playing shortstop, Mark Koenig. Batting third, playing right field, the legendary Babe Ruth. Batting fourth, playing first base, the Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig. Batting fifth, playing left field, Bob Musil. Batting sixth, at second, Tony Lazzeri. Batting seventh, playing third base, Mike Gazzella. Batting eighth and doing the catching, Johnny Grabowski. And batting ninth, the designated hitter, Ben Pasquale. Alrighty, I will be playing as the 1969 New York Mets. The computer will be managing the 1927 New York Yankees and Murderers Row. I will take control of the Yankees if I feel it's necessary to make a pitching change. So let's turn control over from 27 Yankees to the computer, and we will get play. So up at the plate to lead it off for the 1969 New York Mets, Don Clendenin. He batted .252, 12 home runs and 37 RBIs, and off left-handed pitching, .318 on the mound. For the 1927 Yankees, Dutch Ruether. 13 wins, 6 losses, earned run average 3.38, batting average against .284, struck out 45, walked 52. On this replay, he is 1 win, no losses, and he did not give up an earned run. His battery mate, Johnny Grabowski, below average defensive catcher with an average arm. Third base, Mike Gazzella, very poor range. Koenig and Lazzeri up the middle, solid. Koenig at short, Lazeri at second base, and the excellent Lou Gehrig at first base. In left field, Bob Musil. Poor range, excellent arm. Earl Combs the opposite. In center, excellent range, poor arm. And then Babe Ruth in right field, average range with an excellent arm. So Clendenin, right-handed batter, steps to the plate. Ruether, a left-handed pitcher. Clendenin will take. Here's the pitch. Ball one. Good eye by Don Clendenin. Will take again. Grabowski sets the target. There's a strike. Off-speed pitch gets the corner. 1-1 count. Clendenin digs in. The windup and the pitch by Ruether. Clendenin swings, sends that ball out to Musil in left field. He makes the catch for the first out here at the top of the first. Now up, Art Szymanski. Love that name, Szymanski. It flows, Szymanski. Art Szymanski. In 1969, he batted 300, 14 home runs, and 47 RBIs. He's the designated hitter. And off left-handed pitching, 409 batting average. Lefty-lefty matchup here. Grabowski goes through the signs. He sets the target, the windup, and the pitch to Szymanski. And that ball is a line out to Koenig, who shows excellent range there and makes the catch going towards the second base batting. So 2 up, 2 down. Number 3rd batter, Tommy Agee. Net center fielder in 1969, batted .271, 26 home runs, and 76 runs batted in. Off left-handed pitching, .273. Ruether nods his head. Here's the windup and the pitch to Agee. And Agee strikes out to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the first, no score. Due up for the Yankees, Combs, Koenig, and Ruth. Greg Gorecki, our friend from the north, has joined us in the chat. He says Shamsky was also the name of Ray Romano's brother's dog. That's right, the bulldog. He had a bulldog, correct? That's awesome. Good stuff there by Greg Gorecki in the chat. So Earl Combs steps to the plate. And he'll be facing Tom Seaver. Tom, terrific. In 1969, 25 wins, 7 losses, 2.21 earned run average, struck out 208, walked only 82, batting average against .207. His battery mate, excellent defensive catcher Jerry Grody. At third base, Wayne Garrett, poor range. Bud Harrelson, above average range at short. Ken Boswell at second base, below average. And Don Clendenin at first, below average with range. Left field, you have Cleon Jones. Above average with range, very poor arm. And Tommy Agee, excellent range, average arm. In center, and Rod Gaspar in right field, above average range and a cannon for an arm, 10 out of 10. So Earl Combs steps to the plate, and in the retro replay, his numbers are very good. 481, 1 home run, 2 RBIs. In actuality, in 1927, 356, 6 home runs, and 64 RBIs, and he batted .363 off right-handed pitching. Seaver gets the sign from Grody, the windup, and the pitch to Combs. And that is a single sent the other way into left field. So Combs does what he does. He singles and gets on base. He'll be held on by Clendenin. Combs 7 out of 10 base runner. And that brings up Mark Koenig, Yankees shortstop. He has struggled in this replay project. 179 batting average, no home runs, 4 RBIs. In actuality, in 1927, 285, 3 home runs, 62 RBIs. Excellent handling of the bat, 10 out of 10 for bunting and 10 out of 10 for hit and run. And we're going to move Garrett in at third. Oh, we have to do both. Actually, we'll move the corners in, because I don't want Clendenin to play behind Combs. So, Wayne Garrett in at third, Don Clendenin in at first. Koenig at the plate. Seaver rocks and fires. And that ball goes out to Tommy Agee in center field. He makes the catch, retreating back to first base, Earl Combs. So with one out, one on, the Bambino, George Herman Babe Ruth, the Sultan Swat, steps to the plate. He's batting 200. He finally got hot. 4 home runs, 6 RBIs. He had 3 of them his last game against the Cardinals in 1968. In actuality, Babe Ruth hit 356, 60 home runs, and 164 runners knocked in. 361 off right-handed pitching. So here's another terrific matchup. Tom Seaver on the mound to face the Bambi. Jerry Grody goes through the signs. He sets the target. The windup and the pitch to Ruth. Mets looking to turn 2. And Ruth sends that ball deep to right field, but Gaspar goes to the warning track, makes the catch, and fires to second base, nailing Combs as he tries to tag up. Double play, inning over. So we go to the top of the second, no score. They challenged Gaspar's arm, and his arm is 10 out of 10. He has a cannon, and he made them pay. Due up for the Mets, Jones, Gaspar, and Boswell. Cleon Jones steps to the plate. 1969, he batted .340, 12 home runs, 75 runs batted in. And he batted .338 off left-handed pitching. Ruether toes the rubber, peers in at Grabowski. Nods his head. Grabowski sets the target. Here's the pitch to Jones. Jones grounds to Koenig, who lets the ball underneath his glove. So advancing to first base on the E6, Cleon Jones. 7 out of 10 base runner. Lou Gehrig to hold him on. 56% chance of stealing second base. And that will bring up Rod Gaspar, who just threw out Earl Combs at second base in the bottom of the first to end the inning on a double play. Excellent bunter, 10 out of 10. Hit and run, 7 out of 10. I think we're going to play a little hit and run with Mr. Rod Gaspar. He batted .228 in 1969. 1 home run, 14 RBIs. Off left-handed pitching, .263. That's why we inserted him in the lineup. So we're going to play hit and run with Jones at first, the windup and the pitch to Gaspar. That ball is grounded into left field. Hit and run works to perfection past the lunge of Koenig. Mets have runners on the corners. Cleon Jones at third, Gaspar at first. No outs, and that will bring up the second baseman for the Mets, Ken Boswell. Boswell in 1969 batted .279, 3 home runs, 32 runs driven in. He batted .226 off left-handed pitching. 6 out of 10 for hit and run. I think we're going to play hit and run again. Let's get the runners in motion here, and hopefully Boswell puts the ball on the ground past this Yankee infield. Ruether nods his head. Grabowski sets the target. Here's the pitch to Boswell. The hit and run's on, a ground ball to Koenig. We have an 88% chance of Jones scoring. We're going to say yes, and only a 7% chance of them turning a double play, so this is going to work out well for us. So Jones goes home, and they get the runner at second as Koenig goes to Lazzari for the first force out. Boswell reaches on the fielder's choice, and he gets an RBI. 1-0 1969 Mets. So Gaspar is forced out at second. So 1 out, 1 on. Boswell 7 out of 10 base runner being held on by Lou Gehrig, and it brings up the catcher, Jerry Grote, for the Mets. Grote batted .252, 6 home runs, and 40 RBIs, .235 off left-handed pitching. 6 out of 10 for bunting, 6 out of 10 for hit and run. Again, we're going to play hit and run. The windup and the pitch by Ruether. Grote swings, grounds it to Koenig. His only play is the first. Gehrig, nice stretch there. There's 2 outs now. Boswell advances to second. He's in scoring position. For the Mets, third baseman Wayne Garrett. Garrett batted .218, 1 home run, 39 runs batted in. He only batted .207 though against left-handed pitching. We're hoping that Garrett can get a ball to the outfield here, drop in. Boswell should be able to score from second base with 2 outs. He'll be off on contact. Hello, Ken Castro in the chat. And hello, Stratomatic Delaware. Hope all is well. Stratomatic Delaware. I saw that you posted a lineup, but it didn't come up on my, I don't understand why it didn't come up on last night's video. So I'm hoping to do a game, just a quick thing about the sub-league. League of Subs, as we're calling it. I'm hoping to do 1 game, possibly 2 tomorrow. So, anyhow, just throwing that out there. So, Wayne Garrett's at the plate. There's 2 outs. Runner at second. 1-0, 1969 Mets. The windup and the pitch. Garrett swings, grounds it to Lazzeri. Inning over. But the Mets score 1 run. We go to the bottom of the second inning. 1-0 Mets. Due up for the Yankees, Gehrig, Musil, and Lazzeri. So Lou Gehrig steps to the plate, the Iron Horse, in the retro replay. .269, 3 home runs, 3 RBIs. In actuality, in 1927, .373, 47 home runs, and 175 runs driven in. Against right-handed pitching, .379. Another tough matchup here for Tom Terrific, who's on the mound for the Mets. Gehrig digs in. Grote sets the target. Seaver rocks and fires. Gehrig swings, sends that ball up in the air to short. Harrelson calls for it, and he catches the pop-out for out number 1. Okay, Stratomatic. And I think I might put an email instead. Maybe it's easier for you guys to email me if you want. I just thought it would work better. But thank you very much. Hope all is well with everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your life to join me tonight. Greatly appreciated. So 1 out, and Bob Musil steps to the plate. Yankee left fielder, .280, 1 home run, 1 RBI. In actuality, .373 in 1927, 8 home runs, and 103 runs batted in, .331 off right-handed pitching. Seaver's ready. He rocks and fires to Musil. Musil swings and grounds that ball all the way to the wall, down the corner in right field. Musil has a 1-out double. He went past the lunge of Clendenin at first. He's in scoring position. He represents a tying run with 1 out. Tony Lazzeri steps to the plate. 154 in the retro replay. 1 home run, 1 RBI. In actuality, Lazzeri batted .309, 18 home runs, and 102 runs batted in. Off right-handed pitching, .302. Musil, 8 out of 10 base running ability. Seaver toes the rubber, nods his head. Here's the pitch to Lazzeri. Lazzeri sends that ball into center field. Agee puts a charge on it. Musil is going to be sent around to home plate. Agee's arm is 5 out of 10. Musil's running ability, 8 out of 10. We're not going to throw home. We're going to hit the cutoff man and keep Lazzeri at first base in the double play in order. So Musil scores on the Lazzeri single. It's now 1-1. As the Bronx fans love it. The organist plays the charge. Now stepping to plate, Mike Gazzella. Gazella batting .250 in the retro replay. No home runs, 1 RBI. In actuality, in 1927, .278. No home runs, 9 RBIs. 10 out of 10 bunter, 4 out of 10 for hit and run. There's 1 out. Mets looking at turn 2, get out of the inning. The windup and the pitch by Seaver. Gazella puts the bunt down, Seaver fields it and throws to Boswell, covering first base for out number 2. So with 2 outs, Tony Lazzeri's in scoring position now at second. 8 out of 10 base running ability. And that brings up the catcher, Johnny Grabowski for the Yankees. .286 in the retro replay. No home runs and no ribbies yet. 1927, .277. No home runs, 25 runs batted in. On deck, the designated hitter, Pasquale. Grabowski digs in. Seaver toes the rubber. Gets the sign from Jerry Crody. Crody sets the target. Here's the pitch to Grabowski walks. First and second with 2 outs now. The designated hitter, Ben Pasquale, steps to the plate. He's struggled so far. 125, no home runs, 1 RBI. In actuality, 317, 2 home runs, 16 runs batted in. Go-ahead run on second base, Tony Lazzeri. 2 outs, 2 on. The windup and the pitch by Tom Terrific. And Pasquale strikes out, inning over. So Seaver gets the big strikeout. We go to the top of the third, knotted at 1. Due up for the New York Mets, Bud Harrelson, then the top of the order, Clendenin and Shamsky, excuse me. Bud Harrelson steps to the plate. 1969, he batted .248, no home runs, 24 RBIs. Off left-handed pitching, below 200, 186. So he's going to take his first pitch. Here's the windup and the delivery by Ruether. Ball 1. Harrelson will take again. Strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Harrelson digs in. Right-hander's batter's box. Grabowski sets the target. The windup and the pitch to Bud Harrelson. Harrelson grounds to Gazella, who throws to Gehrig for the first out here in the top of the third. Top of the order now, Don Clendenin steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1 today. He flew deep to left in the first inning. The windup and the pitch by Ruether. Clendenin lines out to Gazella. Good reaction there by Gazella at third. So there's 2 outs, no one on. And Art Shamsky steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1. He lined to short in the first inning. Like to get on base to keep this inning alive. Lefty-lefty matchup. Remember, Shamsky batted .409 off left-handed pitching in 1969. Grabowski goes through the signs. Ruether nods his head. Here's the pitch. Shamsky sends that ball out to right field. Ruth on the run towards the line, but it's foul. We hit the reset button. Shamsky steps back in that left-handed batter's box. Counts no balls, 2 strikes. The windup and the pitch. Shamsky lines out to Gehrig, who leaps in the air and robs Shamsky of a hit. Inning over. Outstanding play by the Iron Horse at first base. We go to the bottom of the third, still tied at 1. Due up for the Yankees, top of the order. Combs, Koenig, and Ruth. If anyone gets on, Lou Gehrig. Let me quickly go to the chat. And let's see what's going on here real quick. As we have Greg Garecki in Stratomatic, Delaware. And Ken Castro in the chat. And let's see what they're talking about here. Greg Garecki says, if the 1960 Pirates were available, it might have been game on. Stratomatic, Delaware. I would have liked to have taken Stewart, Clemente, and Skinner into battle. All good players there. Alrighty. Let's go back to the game now. Bottom of the third, tied up, 1-1. Earl Combs steps to the plate. He singled in the first and then was doubled up when he tried to tag up from first base, as Gaspar made a fine running catch and quickly fired to second base for the double play. So Combs singled in the first off Seaver. Seaver's looking for a better result here in the bottom of the third. Brody sets the target. Here's the pitch to Combs. That ball's popped up. Clendenin calls for it at first base. 1 up, 1 down. Stepping to the plate, left-handed batting shortstop for the 1927 Yankees, Mark Koenig. He's 0 for 1. He flied to center in the first. Seaver rocks and fires. Koenig swings and he singles into right field. So a 1-out single for Koenig. 6 out of 10 base running ability. Clendenin will hold him on, and now Babe Ruth steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1. He flied very deep to right. That's when Gaspar made the catch and then fired to second base, and Combs was doubled up. Ruth is looking for a ball he can send out of the ballpark. He has 4 home runs on this retro replay. The windup and the pitch by Tom Seaver. Ruth swings and he grounds to Clendenin, who throws to Harrelson. Back to Clendenin. Double play. That goes 3-6 to 3. Inning over. We go to the top of the fourth, tied at 1. Due up for the Mets. Tommy Agee, Cleon Jones, and then Gaspar. Agee 0 for 1 today. 7 out of 10 bunting ability. We have Gazella at third. He's 3 out of 10 range. And we have Grabowski, who's a 4 out of 10 catcher. Agee had 26 home runs in 1969. We're going to let him swing away. Ruether toes the rubber. Peers in at Grabowski. The windup and the pitch to Agee. Agee swings, and that is going to be a double off the left center field wall. So Tommy Agee rips a double. He's in scoring position with no outs. And stepping to the plate, Cleon Jones. Jones is 0 for 1. He had 75 runs batted in 1969. He has a duck out on the pond named Tommy Agee that he'd love to bring home. Grabowski sets the target. The windup and the pitch to Jones. Jones pops that ball up to Gazella at third base. He makes the catch on the outfield grass for the first out here in the top of the fourth. So with 1 out, Rod Gaspar steps to the plate. He's 1 for 1. Tommy Agee's at second. 7 out of 10 base running ability. Gaspar singled in the second. He's looking for a similar result to knock in Tommy Agee. The windup and the pitch by Ruether. Gaspar swings, grounds it to Koenig, who comes charging in, and they just get Gaspar at first. Excellent stretch by Lou Gehrig. Advancing to third base, Tommy Agee with 2 outs. That brings up Ken Boswell. He reached on a fielder's choice in the second. And got an RBI on that when Jones scored from third. He's looking to knock Agee in from third now. Lefty-lefty matchup. The windup and the pitch to Boswell. And he grounds back to the pitcher, inning over. Nice play by Ruether. Good reaction there on the mound. We go to the bottom of the fourth, still tied at 1. Go to the chat here. Ken Castro says, yes, my son was young then. We bought all kinds of discounted stuff then. I missed something higher up. Greg Gorecki, I would like to see Tampa move to Montreal since no one seems to go to the Rays games anymore. Ken Castro, agree. Greg Gorecki, the strike in 1994 killed that team. Yes, it did. I've always said, if Tampa Bay moved up to the northeast in another part of New England, they would draw quite well, in my opinion. So, because you have the Yankees and Red Sox would come in, they'd stay in the American League. You're going to draw then. And if you have a good team, you have a lot of good baseball fans in the New England area. But if they went to Montreal, I'd be happy. also. Lou Gehrig comes to the plate, followed by Musil and Lazzeri. If anyone gets on Gazella, Gehrig's 0 for 1 against Seaver. He popped to short in the second inning. Seaver rocks and fires. Gehrig swings and sends that ball out to right center field. AG makes the running catch for the first out in the bottom of the fourth. Bob Musil steps to the plate. Right-handed batter. Left fielder's 1 for 1. He doubled down the first base line in the second inning past Clendenin. Grote goes through the signs. Seaver nods his head. Grote sets the target. Here's the pitch to Musil. That's grounded to Boswell, over to Clendenin. Out number 2. So it's going to be up to Tony Lazzeri, Yankee second baseman's 1 for 1, to extend this inning. Lazzeri singled in the second, knocking Musil in, tying the ball game up. And that's how we stand right now, 1-1. Bottom of the fourth, 2 outs, no one on. The windup and the pitch to Lazzeri. Lazzeri sends that ball deep and foul down the left field line. The count's now 2 balls and 2 strikes for Tony Lazzeri. Lazzeri's ready to grip and rip. Seaver nods his head. Here's the pitch. Lazzeri pops that ball up to Garrett at third base. He squeezes it for out number 3. We go to the top of the 5th in this pitcher's duel. Tied at 1. Due up for the Mets. Grote, Garrett, and Harrelson. If anyone gets on, the top of the order, Clendenin. Jerry Grote, the Mets catcher, 0 for 1 today. He grounded to short in the second inning. The windup and the pitch by Ruether. Grote works a walk. Leadoff runner on Grote, 5 out of 10 base running ability. Lou Gehrig to hold him on. Brings up Wayne Garrett. 6 out of 10 bunter. He's 0 for 1 today. He grounded to second. Garrett's going to square to bunt. Here's the pitch. Garrett squares. But before that, they throw over. Grote gets back. Garrett steps back in the batter's box. Asks for time. It's granted. Now he's ready. Sacrifice still on. The windup and the pitch. Garrett squares. Puts the bunt down. And the play is the first. Lazzeri covering at first base for the out. Advancing to second base. Jerry Grote's in scoring position. He represents the go-ahead run. That brings up the very weak-hitting shortstop Bud Harrelson. He's 0 for 1 today. Grounded to third in the third inning. RBI opportunity here for Bud. The windup and the pitch by Ruether. Harrelson swings, grounds that ball right back to Ruether, who quickly throws to Garrett for out number 2. Grote had no place to go. He stayed put at second base. Top of the order now. 2 outs. It'll be up to Don Clendenin to knock Grote in and extend this inning. Clendenin 0 for 2 against Ruether. Fly deep to left in the first and line to third in the third inning. So he's hit the ball hard 2 times with nothing to show. Will the third time be the charm for Don Clendenin? We shall see. 2 outs, runner at second, the windup and the pitch to Clendenin. Clendenin singles into left field. We have an 86% chance of Grote scoring. We're going to challenge Musil's arm. It's a 9 out of 10 though, so we shall see. Here comes Grote around third base. We're going to hold Clendenin at first up. The throw to the plate and sliding in safely under the tag of Grabowski is Jerry Grote. The 1969 Mets retake the lead 2-1 on the 2-out RBI single by Don Clendenin. So the third time was the charm. He hit the ball hard 2 prior times for outs, but not the third time. RBI single. And that brings up Art Shamsky. He's 0 for 2. Shamsky line to short and line to first. He's also hit the ball hard. Will the third time be the charm for Shamsky? Clendenin being held on at first by Gehrig. Lefty-lefty matchup. Grabowski goes through the signals. Ruether nods his head. The windup and the pitch to Shamsky. Shamsky swings, sends that ball to Musil. He makes the catch, inning over. But the Mets score 1 and retake the lead 2-1. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Due up for the Yankees, Gazella, Grabowski, and Pasquale. Let me jump to the chat here. Greg Gorecki says, new rival for the Red Sox and a natural rival for the Jays. I think it would be very interesting if they moved to the Northeast. I believe them. Stratomatic Delaware. Jays and Rays, it could happen. Greg Gorecki, not holding my breath. Stratomatic Delaware. Yeah, would make sense why it probably would never happen. Greg Gorecki. I was at the first ever Expos Blue Jays home games. Greg Gorecki, yes. Alright, back to the ball game. If you're watching, feel free to jump in the chat. Some fine folks in there, Ken Castro, Greg Gorecki, and Stratomatic Delaware. And remember to check out Stratomatic Delaware's channel. A lot of Stratomatic baseball and football on the channel. He just got his 150 subscriber, so he's going to be doing a Q&A video. So check that out and leave him a question. Also check out Eric from Higher Ground Gaming. Tabletop baseball with the Earls, baseball demos, and if you like TV shows and movie reviews, Broke Black Man 94 does an excellent job. Phil the Issues Guy, and Johnny Giants Band. So Mike Gazella steps to the plate. He had a sacrifice bunt in the 2nd, thus no official at-bat yet. Seaver works quickly. Here's the pitch to Gazella. Pops it up to Garrett at 3rd. He makes the catch, route number 1. Now bring up the Yankee catcher, Johnny Grabowski. Grabowski walked in the 2nd inning. Seaver nods his head. Brody sets the target. Here's the pitch to Grabowski. And he strikes out. Big swing and a miss on the 0-2 count. So there's 2 outs, no one on. The number 9 hitter, the designated hitter for the 1927 Yankees, Ben Pasquale. He's 0 for 1. Struck out in the 2nd. Seaver looking to go 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the 5th. The windup and the pitch to Pasquale. And he gets him on the K, inning over, so Seaver strikes out the last 2 batters. We go to the top of the 6th, 2-1, 1969 Mets over the 1927 Yankees in Murderers Row. Due up for the Mets, Agee, Jones, and Gaspar. Tommy Agee's 1 for 2. Struck out in the 1st and double in the 4th. Ruether's ready to work. Grabowski sets the target. Here's the pitch to Agee. And Agee gets a walk. Patience proved to be prudent. Agee's on first. 7 out of 10 running ability will be held on by the Iron Horse. Lou Gehrig brings up Cleon Jones, 0 for 2 today. 6 out of 10 for hit and run. Jones had 75 runs knocked in, 12 home runs in 1969. We're going to play hit and run with Agee at first. Ruether toes the rubber, peers in at Grabowski. Here's the pitch to Jones, hit and run on. They throw over, Agee's back, dives back, as Gehrig slapped the tag on him. Slightly late though. Jones steps back in the batter's box. Here's the hit and run. Here's the pitch. Grounded to Koenig. His only plays to Gehrig at first. Agee advances to second base with 1 out. He's in scoring position for Rod Gaspar. He's 1 for 2 today. And he's made a fine defensive play, throwing out Koenig at second base after making a wonderful running catch. He singled in the 2nd and grounded to short in the 4th. Chance for an RBI for Gaspar. He awaits the Ruether offering. Here it is. Gaspar swings and he lines out to Lazzeri. Nice play by Tony Lazzeri. quickly getting back to the second base bag is AG. So they have hit, the 1969 Mets have hit Yankee pitching quite hard in this game, but only have 2 runs to show for it. So 2 outs, runner at second. Ken Boswell steps to the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. The windup and the pitch to Boswell. Boswell grounds to Lazzeri, inning over. So AG, the runner at second, is squandered. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 2-1 Mets. Due up for the Yankees, the top of the order for the 27 Yankees. Combs, Koenig, and Ruth, and if anyone gets on, Lou Gehrig. Combs 1 for 2 today. Single in the first, popped out to first in the third. The windup and the pitch by Tom Terrific. Combs swings and lines out to Clendenin. Turnabout is fair play. 1 up, 1 down. Mark Koenig steps to the plate. He's 1 for 2. Yankee shortstop fly to center in the first, singled in the third. Righty-lefty matchup. Seaver's ready. Here's the pitch to Koenig. That ball's popped up to Boswell. He makes the catch just behind the second base bag for out number 2. Now, the Bambino, George, Herman, Babe Ruth steps to the plate. He's 0 for 2 today, but 1 swing of the bat, and the Babe can tie this game up. Ruth flied very deep to right in the first, and then grounded to first into a double play in the 3rd inning. Seaver's looking to make him 0 for 3. Peers in at Jerry Grody. Seaver nods his head. Grody sets the target. Here's the pitch to the Bambino. And that ball is sent deep to center field, and AG right in front of the wall makes the catch. Inning over. Good range there by Tommy AG. We go to the top of the 7th in this pitcher's duel. Tom Terrific 2 in the 1969 New York Mets. Murderers Row in the 27 Yankees 1. Due up for the Mets, Grody, Garrett, and Harrelson. Ruether's up to 77 pitches. He's good for 130. He's only given up 2 runs on 3 hits. Jerry Grody's 0 for 1. The Mets catcher steps into the right-handed batter's box. Ruether gets a sign from Grabowski. Here's the pitch to Grody. Grody grounds that ball past Lazzeri into right field for a leadoff single. So Grody's on. Gehrig to hold him on. And now Wayne Garrett steps to the plate. Garrett's 0 for 1. Grounded to second in the 2nd inning and had a sacrifice bunt in the 5th. 6 out of 10 hit and run. 6 out of 10 bunter. 5 out of 10 hit and run. And I think we're going to bunt. Who's on? Harrelson's on deck. We're going to play hit and run with Garrett. Hopefully he puts the ball in play. Here's the pitch to Garrett. Hit and run. There goes Grody, and he pops it up. And foul behind the catcher. So the count's now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Grody at first, being held on by Garrett. The windup and being held on by Gehrig. The windup and the pitch by Ruether. Throws over. Grody is back. Garrett steps back into the left-handed batter's box. Grabowski goes through the signs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. No outs. Runner at first. The windup and the pitch. Garrett swings, grounds it to Lazzeri. It goes to Koenig. That's the only play. Good hard slide into second by Grody. No double play. So Wayne Garrett replaces Grody at first. So there's 1 out now. Garrett's at first. And Bud Harrelson steps to the plate. Mets shortstop's 0 for 2 today. Garrett 6 out of 10 base running ability. Ruether nods his head. The windup and the pitch to Bud Harrelson. Harrelson strikes out. So now there's 2 outs. Here in the top of the 7th, 2-1 Mets. Top of the order, Don Clendenin. He's 1 for 3 today. He has hit the ball hard all 3 times, and the last time it paid off with a single down into left, knocking in the go-ahead run, Jerry Grody. Ruether toes the rubber, peers in at Grabowski. He's ready. Here's the pitch to Don Clendenin. That's going to be a wild pitch. No, a pass ball. They're going to give that a pass ball, and Grabowski, he couldn't corral that pitch. Garrett now moves into scoring position at second base with 2 outs. It counts 3 balls, no strikes. Clendenin will have the green light. He's looking for a ball he can rip into the outfield. Ruether's ready. Here's the pitch. Clendenin swings. He sends that ball deep and off left center field wall for a 2-out double, and scoring from second base is Wayne Garrett. It is now 3-1 1969 Mets. Now stepping to the plate, Art Shamsky. He's 0 for 3 today. RBI opportunity. Clendenin on at second. This could be Ruether's last batter. Lefty-lefty matchup. Shamsky batted .409 though off left-handed pitching. Grabowski sets the target. The windup and the pitch by Ruether. Shamsky pops it up to Gehrig, inning over, but the Mets score again. We go to the bottom of the 7th, 3-1. 1969 Mets over the 1927 Yankees. Tom Seaver up to 76 pitches. He's good for 135. He looks strong. He'll face Gehrig, Musil, and Lazzeri. Gehrig's 0 for 2 today. The windup and the pitch. Gehrig swings, and that's going to be a single in the left center field. And stepping to the plate, Bob Musil. He represents the tying run. He's 1 for 2. Doubled in the second, grounded out in the 4th. Mets pinch the middle with Harrelson and Boswell, looking at turn 2. Seaver nods his head. Here's the pitch to Musil. That ball's popped up. Boswell on the run, and he makes the catch going towards the right field line in shallow right field for out number 1, robbing Musil the bloop hit. Gehrig quickly retreats back to first base. So 1 out, 1 on. Tony Lazzeri steps to the plate. Take care, Stratomatic Delaware. Thank you for stopping by. Have a wonderful Sunday. Lazzeri 1 for 2. Singled, knocking in a run in the second, and popped out in the 4th. He represents the tying run at the plate. Seaver rocks and fires. Lazzeri goes down on strikes. Big swing and a miss. Couldn't catch up to that 97-mile-per-hour fastball by Tom Terrific. So with 2 outs, it's now up to Mike Gazzella to extend the inning. Gazzella 0 for 1. If you're thinking home run, Gazzella didn't have any in 1927. Clendenin holding Gehrig on at first. Seaver's ready. Here's the pitch to Gazzella. And he plunks him. Oh, wow. And what happened here? He's ejected. Did he try to charge the mound? It looks like Gazzella tried to charge the mound. And he's thrown out of the game. Benny Benoff will run at first base. So let's see what happened here. Seaver plunked Gazzella. Gazzella started yelling at him. Seaver started yelling back. Gazzella charged the mound. A little brouhaha broke out, but Grody was able to tackle Gazzella before he got there and did any damage to Tom Terrific. Bench is empty, but nothing else came from it, except the ejection of Mike Gazzella. So Benny Benoff comes in to run for him. Excellent speed at first base. 8 out of 10 base running ability. 92% chance of stealing second, but Gehrig occupies second base. I doubt they're going to go double steal because Gehrig only has a 13% chance of stealing third. At the plate, the Yankee catcher. He represents the go-ahead run now. It's kind of silly that Gazzella charged the plate, the mound, excuse me. Grabowski's 0 for 1 today. He walked in the second, struck out in the fifth. Jerry Grody goes out to have a word with Seaver. Clendenin and Garrett join him. Meeting adjourned, players go back to their positions. Big opportunity here for the 1927 Yankees. Get right back in this ballgame. Bottom of the seventh, they trail by 2, 3-1, Mets. The windup and the pitch by Tom Seaver. And Grabowski walks. The bases are now loaded for the number 9 batter, Ben Pasquale. He's 0 for 2 today. Again, Grody goes out to have a word with him, and now joined by the pitching coach. Seaver, 97 pitches, good for 135. Pasquale, 0 for 2. He has struck out in the second and the fifth. We're going to give Seaver one more opportunity to get out of this jam. 2 outs, bases loaded, no place to put Pasquale. Yankees on every bag. Seaver looks determined on that mound. He rocks and fires. Pasquale swings, sends that ball out to Agee, who makes the running catch in left center field. Inning over, danger averted. We go to the top of the 8th, 3-1 Mets. So Tom Terrific pitches out of the jam. And now due up for the Mets, Agee, Jones, and Gaspar. Tommy Agee's 1 for 2 today. Struck out in the first, doubled in the fourth, and walked in the 6th. Ruether, 97 pitches, good for 130. He'll stay out there. Grabowski sets the target. Ruether rocks and fires. Agee swings, grounds it to Dugan, who throws to Gehrig. So Joe Dugan replaced the ejected Gazella. He's now at third base. 7 out of 10 defensive range. So he's a much better defensive third baseman than Gazella. Very good play there to get the first out of the inning. 1 out, no one on. Cleon Jones steps to the plate. He's 0 for 3 today. He awaits the Ruether offering. Here's the pitch. Jones walks. Jones was patient, and it paid off. Gehrig to hold Jones on. Dangerous runner at first. And it brings up Rod Gaspar, 1 for 3. Singled in the second, grounded out in the fourth, and lined out in the 6th. Gaspar, 7 out of 10 hit and run. You know how Al, Red Sox fan, loves to hit and run. So we're going to play hit and run here. Grabowski sets the target. Here's the pitch to Gaspar. Hit and run on. That ball's grounded to Lazzeri. And oh my God, they still turn 2. What a play by Tony Lazzeri and Koenig. Lazzeri going towards the first base side, quickly grabs it, and then off balance fires to Koenig coming across the bag, who then throws to Gehrig. Double play, even on the hit and run. Outstanding by the 1927 middle infielders there. And Gehrig at first. Wow. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 3-1 Mets. Tom Seaver now up to 101 pitches. He's only given up 1 run on 5 hits. Top of the order for the Mets, Combs, Koenig, and Ruth. That was unbelievable that they turned a double play on a hit and run. Koenig 1 for 3. 1 hit came in the first inning. It was a single. Since then, he has popped out and lined out. Seaver's ready. Here's the pitch to Combs. And he goes down on strikes. That 99-mile-per-hour fastball just frozen. 1 up, 1 down. Here in the bottom of the 8th. Brings up Mark Koenig. Will turn that absolutely marvelous double play. Koenig 1 for 3. Fly to center. Then singled and popped out. The windup and the pitch by Tom Terrific. Koenig sends that ball out to Agee. In center field, Agee tracks it down before the wall for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down in the Bambino. Babe Ruth 0 for 3 off Tom Terrific. The Babe flied very deep to right in the first, grounded to first in the third, then fly to center in the 6th. Seaver looking for another 1-2-3 inning here. 1969 Mets 3, the 1927 Yankees 1. Ruth looking to extend the inning. Brody sets the target. Here's the pitch to the Bambino. He pops it up to Harrelson, who's on the outfield grass, makes the catch. Inning over. We go to the top of the ninth. The 1969 Mets 3, the Yankees of 1927 1. Due up for the Mets, Boswell, Grody, and Garrett. Ruether still on the mound. 107 pitches. Boswell 0 for 3. Lefty-lefty matchup. Here's the pitch to Boswell. Grounded to Lazzeri for out number 1. Yankee fans cheer that. They need to keep this a 2-run deficit to have hope in the bottom of the ninth. Not Bob Hope, but hope. Jerry Grody steps to plate. Mets catchers 1 for 2. Grounded out in the second, walked in the fifth, and singled in the seventh. Grody digs in. He's looking for a pitch he can grip and rip. Grabowski's ready. He sets the target. The windup and the pitch to Jerry Grody. Grody singles to right field. So a 1-out single by the Met catcher. He now has 2 hits in the ball game. 2 for 4. Held on by Garrett at first, and Wayne Garrett steps to the plate. Garrett's 0 for 2. He has a ground out, a sacrifice, and another ground out. Fielder's choice, excuse me. Here comes the hit and run. Here's the pitch by Ruether. Garrett sends that ball into right field, so he singles, and going first to third is Jerry Grody. Hit and run works once again for Al Red Sox fan. So Mets on the corners. Bud Harrelson's coming to the plate. 1 out. He's 0 for 3. And that's going to be it for Ruether. We'll take control of the Yankees and bring in a pitcher, and it's going to be Wilsey. Wilsey Moore will come in. So Wilsey Moore in 1927, 19 wins, 7 losses, 13 saves. Earned run average 2.28. Batting average against 239. In the retro replay, no wins, 1 loss, 1 save. ERA 5.40, so he's been hit much harder. He's walked 6, struck out 5. And I think we're going to go to a pinch hitter here as we want to tack on some more runs for the 1969 Mets here in the top of the ninth. They lead the 27 Yankees 3-1. And Wilsey Moore's a righty. Ed Kranepool 255 off right-handed pitching. Bob Heiss 333. That's only 10 at-bats though. Ed Charles, no, that's 239. Duffy Dyer, 261. I think we're going to go with Kranepool. We're going to go with Ed Kranepool. I believe he was a pretty good pinch hitter later on in his career. So we're going to go with Ed Kranepool. 399 slugging percentage against righties. So maybe he can at least get this ball in the air and score Grody. We're not going to pinch run for Grody. It's pretty good. Who else do we have? Duffy Dyer. Alright, well, Kranepool is going to pitch hit for Bud Harrelson. Then I guess we got Al Weiss, who can play short. We got Bob Heiss. See what his shortstop rating is, Al Weiss. He's a 5. Oh, was it Ron Sloboda? Was Ron Sloboda the better pitcher? Well, here comes Ed Kranepool to pinch hit for the very weak hitting. But, oh, actually, hold on a second. Before I do that, no. Aha, my faux pas. I'm glad I looked. This is a right-handed pitcher. Cancel that. Bud Harrelson bats 268 off right-handed pitching, so he's going to stay in even 0 for 3. Greg Gorecki says Cranepool could play first in the 9th as well. You are correct. But we're going to stick with Bud Harrelson because I was thinking the 186, but that was off the left-handed throwing Ruether. Alright, so big moment here for Bud Harrelson. We're going to stick with him. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Harrelson bats .268 off right-handed pitching. 5 out of 10 hit and run. I'm not going to go hit and run here, though. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Moore's ready. Here's the pitch to Harrelson. Harrelson grounds to Lazzeri. We're going to send Grody home. And the Yankees have a 54% chance of turning 2. So most likely this might be a double play. Grody's going to dash to the... They throw home instead. Wow! Unbelievable. 4-1. Wow, they didn't try to turn 2. Lazzeri went home with it. It's now 4-1 Mets. The Cubs the Bears has joined us in the chat. Hello, the Cubs the Bears. He says YouTube was down earlier tonight over much of the southeast U.S., but good to see it's back up. Well, thank you for joining us. Yes, it does look like that, Ken Castro. But to be fair to 27 Yankees, they're playing against some of the best pitchers. You know, I'm sure if we had series when you match up some of the other teams, it's going to be interesting to see. I honestly, when I went into this project, I thought they had a good chance of having a losing record just because of the pitchers that they face. As Greg Gorecki goes, LOL, overrated. Alright, so it's 4-1 Mets, as they did try to turn 2. They went to the plate on the play. I guess I would have tried to turn 2 on that. So 4-1 Mets, 2 outs, runners at first and second. Harrelson gets an RBI on that. And that brings up Don Clendenin, who's 2 for 4 today against the Yankees. Fly to deep left in the first, lined out in the third, singled in the fifth, knocking in Grody. Then doubled in the 7th, knocking in Garrett. He's looking for his 3rd RBI of the game. The windup and the pitch by Moore. That ball goes out to Musil. He makes the catch. Garrett bluffs and retreats to second base. So Clendenin flies out to left. Art Shamsky steps to the plate. Shamsky's 0 for 4. Mets designated hitter. 2 outs, 2 on. Here's the pitch to Shamsky. Righty-lefty matchup. And he strikes out, inning over. Yankees fans cheer even though they're down. 3 runs. We go to the bottom of the 9th. The 1969 Mets 4. The 1927 Yankees 1. They have been shut down by Tom Terrific. Seaver has thrown 113 pitches. He's good for 135. He's going to look to close out this ball game. And he'll have to do it against Lou Gehrig, Bob Musil, and Tony Lazzeri. If anyone gets on, Dugan the catcher. Let's see who we have who's better defensively at second base. Weiss. Weiss is a 5. 970 fielding percentage. So Weiss will come in for Boswell. And who do we have at first? Clendenin's a 4. 984 fielding percentage. Cranepool's a 4 with a 993 fielding percentage. we'll keep Clendenin. We'll keep Cleon in the game. I mean Clendenin in the game. He's earned it. He's knocked in 2 runs. Cancel that. And the outfield's going to stay the same. Who do we have going to play third? Garrett is a 3. Collins is a 5. We're going to bring Collins in for defensive purposes. Though Garrett has a better fielding percentage. Collins has the better range. Garrett has, you know what? I'm going to keep Garrett in the game. I'd rather have the better fielding percentage. All right, here we go. Seaver on the mound. Lou Gehrig at the plate. He's 1 for 3. The Iron Horse. He's popped out in the 2nd, flied out in the 4th, and singled his last time up in the 7th. As Greg Gurecki says, leave Don in. Yeah, I'm gonna. The only change is Al Weiss at second base. Brody sets the target. Here's the pitch to Gehrig. That's a grounder to Harrelson, who charges it, throws to first, and hustling all the way down the line, Lou Gehrig beats it out for an infield hit. Leadoff runner on. Bob Musil steps to the plate. The Yankee left fielder is 1 for 3. His 1 hit came in the 2nd inning. It was a double. Brody goes out to have a word with Seaver. Bullpen action starts for the 69 Mets. Well, the Cubs, the Bears, it says he has a 10 arm. And you missed it because he threw out Combs tagging up from first. I believe that was in the 1st inning. So, we can debate that later. I didn't make the ratings. I just play with the ratings. We can actually look up how many putouts, not putouts, how many assists, it would be assists he had in 69. I would assume that's how they judge that. Alright, Musil at the plate. Mets looking to turn 2. Here's the pitch by Seaver. And he strikes out Musil for the first out, bottom of the 9th. Brings up Tony Lazzeri, who's 1 for 3. How many strikeouts does Tom Terrific have? Let's check. He has 6. He quietly has 6 strikeouts. He's up to 120 pitches, good for 135. Double play here would end the game. Lazzeri 1 for 3. Singled in the 2nd. Knocking in Musil, so Lazzeri has the only Yankee RBI. Since then, popped out and struck out. Lazzeri looking for something to grip and rip. He had 18 home runs in 1927 to go along with his 102 RBIs. Seaver toes the rubber. Weiss and Harrelson looking to turn 2. Brody sets the target. Here's the pitch to Lazzeri. That ball goes out to Gaspar, and it's foul. Counts now 1 ball, 2 strikes on Tony Lazzeri. Steps back into the batter's box. Clendenin holding Garrett on. Seaver rocks and fires. Lazzeri goes down on strikes. Big swing and a miss. 1969 Mets 1 out away from victory, and it'll be up to Joe Dugan, the Yankee catcher who came in the game. The Yankee third baseman who came in the game after Gazella was thrown out of the game for charging the mound when Seaver plunked him. Brody was able to grab him and pull him down before any damage was done. Benches cleared, but nothing else took place. So Joe Dugan steps to the plate. He needs to get on to extend this game for the New York Yankees of 1927. In 1927, Dugan batted .269, 2 home runs, and 43 runs knocked in. Clendenin will now play behind Gehrig with 2 outs, give him better range. Greg Gurecki says Taylor and McGraw warming up, and Greg Gurecki also says to the Cubs, the Bears, Rod Gaspar has an arm of 10. No way. Greg Gurecki says only 13 assists for Gaspar. There it is, moment of truth for the Yankees and Dugan. The windup and the pitch by Tom Terrific. That's a grounder to Harrelson, who throws the Weiss, forcing out Gehrig. Ball game over. The 1969 New York Mets defeat the 1927 New York Yankees 4-1. So once again, the 27 Yankees taking on the chin, but they are going up against some of the best pitching in the history of baseball. Let me quickly go to the chat. The Cubs, the Bears has posted, judging an arm based on how many base runners he's thrown out is so wrong. Runners take more chances against weaker arms, so there are more opportunities for assists. Runners seldom run against great arms. That is very true, and Greg Gorecki also says true. You're correct. You're not going to run on a strong arm. So, let's go to the box score here. Tom Seaver gets the win and is player of the game. Ruether takes the loss. He's now 1 win and 1 loss. Box score. OBS. Okay. There we go. Box score will be up in a moment. I like to thank the people who join me in the chat. Greatly appreciate it. Always gets my mind off things. Let's go to pitching first. Thank you to Ken Castro in the chat. Greg Gorecki, the Cubs, the Bears. Stratomatic Delaware, who was here earlier. Check out his channel, Stratomatic Delaware. A lot of good tabletop Stratomatic baseball and football on that channel. And I believe that's it for the people who join me live in the chat. And again, I greatly appreciate it. If you're watching and you're catching it live, feel free to jump in the chat if you want. You don't have to, but it's a lot of fun. A lot of good baseball fans here. That's what we usually talk about. Also, if you want, hit the like button, share, subscribe. We're trying to grow our community. We have a League of Subs starting up. And if you haven't got your lineups in, if you'd like to, please do that. I'd like to play a couple of games tomorrow. If not, I'll pick a couple of teams. I won't pick it with people who are in the chat a lot. I might do Andre Ford's team against Riding since '93. I haven't seen them in a little while, so I might play that game out tomorrow. Anyway, let's go to the end of this game, the box score. The 1969 Mets behind Tom Seaver, Tom Terrific, are victorious 4-1 over the 1927 Yankees. Tom Seaver pitched well. It wasn't dominant, but it was, if that makes any sense. Seaver went 9 innings, so that's dominant. He only gave up 6 hits, 1 run. It was earned. Walked 2, struck out 7, so a very solid workmanlike performance. And I guess it was dominant. I don't know. What would you call that, guys? Gentlemen in the chat. 9 innings, 1 run. It's a dominant performance. I guess I was looking for at least 10 strikeouts by Tom Terrific after a couple of really big strikeouts by Ryan and Pedro. For the 1927 Yankees, Ruether went 8 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs. Only 2 of them earned. So his pitching performance wasn't that bad. He only gave up 2 earned runs. An error on Koenig cost them. We walked 3, struck out 2. Will C. Moore came in, pitched the final 2/3, and no runs, no hits, 1 strikeout. Let's go to the batting. Take care, Ken Castro. Thank you for joining me. Greg Gorecki says solid start. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I mean, I guess, like I said, he only gave up 1 run. He went 9 innings, but it just didn't seem dominant, It wasn't like the Pedro Martinez or even Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan struggled early against them, but then settled down. All right, let's just go through the hits quick, and we will call it a stream. Clendenin 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs, 1 double, left 2 men on. Then AG was 1 for 3. He walked once. Gaspar, 1 for 4. And then Grody, 2 for 3, scored 2 runs and walked once. And Garrett, 1 for 3 and scored once. Mets batters who struck out, Shamsky, AG, and Harrelson. So in total, a 1969 Mets in victory, 34 at-bats, 4 runs, 7 hits, 4 RBIs, 3 walks, 3 Ks, 2 doubles, No homers, no triples, left 19 runners on base, and batting average as a team, 206. For the 1927 Yankees, let's go through their 6 hits. Combs had a hit. Koenig had a hit. Gehrig had 2 hits. Musil had a hit and scored a run. Lazzeri had the hit and the only RBI. Strikeouts, Combs once, Musil once, Lazzeri twice, Grabowski once, and Pasquale twice. I think for the 27 Yankees, I'm going to be moving Pasquale out of the DH spot. So in total, the 1927 Yankees in defeat, 30 at-bats, only 1 run. Again, they struggle scoring runs so far. Again, they're going up against some really terrific pitching. 6 hits, 1 RBI, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, 1 double. Left 12 runners on base. Batting average as a team right now, 230. Go quickly to the recap. Mets scored first in the 2nd inning, 1 run on 1 hit and an error. Ken Boswell hit a grounder, scoring the runner, and they took a 1-0 lead, the Mets. The Yankees came back in the bottom of the 2nd and tied the game, 1 run on 2 hits and a walk. Tony Lazzeri singled, scoring Musil, 1-1. In the 5th, Mets scored 1 run on a hit and a walk. Don Clendenin singled, scoring Grody to take the lead 2-1. The Mets scored again in the 7th on 2 hits. Clendenin doubled, scoring Garrett, made it 3-1. Then in the 9th, they scored another run on 2 hits. Bud Harrelson hit a grounder, scoring the runner from 3rd. And that made it 4-1, and that's how the game ended. Tom Seaver went 9 solid innings, got the win. He struck out 7. Dutch Ruether went 8 1/3, solid innings, got the loss. It's his 2nd loss, I believe. No, it's his. He's 1-1. Excuse me, I'm sorry. As 2 runs were unearned. So once again, 1969 Mets behind Tom Terrific defeat the 27 Yankees in Murderers Row 4-1. Thank you very much for everyone who joined me in the chat. Let me get one last. The Cubs, the Bears has posted. Greg Gorecki also posted. He says, Clendenin always solid in the clutch. Yes, he was. The Cubs, the Bears. Seaver had a game score of 76. That is a stronger performance, just short of dominant. Okay. I think it was a strikeouts. I was looking for more strikeouts from Tom. But excellent performance. So, thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll be back tomorrow. Probably try to get 3 games in. I don't know if it's all going to be Action PC, but I'm going to try to get 3 games in. Might do a little out of the ballpark, but we'll see. I'm going to see if anyone puts any lineups in. If not, I do want to do 1 Liga Subs game. And again, we'll see who that's going to be tomorrow. Or I might wait till next weekend. I kind of want to get that started because I think it's going to be a lot of fun for everybody. And hopefully we can get you guys to be there when it happens, especially the people whose teams are playing. And again, this is the first one we've done. It'll get better as we go. We'll be more organized in how we want to do it. I think so far it's been so good. So good. So, thank you very much. Health and happiness. Take care. Bye-bye. And God bless.